All right, astrology time. Shane here, daily-astrocat.com. And oh boy, today we got Friday the 13th, okay? It's your astrology for Friday the 13th. Hopefully there's no triskaidekaphobes out there. Love that word. And I actually like Friday the 13th because I have a grandson whose birthday is on the 13th. So that's kind of interesting. It means that he's going to have some Friday the 13th birthdays in his lifetime as well. So look, it's Friday, so it's Friday the 13th. And the moon is in Capricorn all day long. Now, today, it may be Friday the 13th, but we've got an excellent chance to break out of some old patterns that may have been holding us back during this whole retrograde business of Mercury, right? Now that we have Jupiter direct, we only have one planet, Mercury, and that's going to be moving forward very soon on the 20th, so 7 days for that. So, have you been fearful, or have you been just getting Mercuried, for the lack of a better word, right? Just, keep on plunging straight ahead, but just getting Mercuried. Now, it seems like we have, we do have less than 7 days till Mercury's direct. So, we're going to be blundering through it, and interesting. Okay, that was loud. All right, and we're going to be blundering through it, and today's a giant step in the right direction. As long as you realize that communication is never easy, and you're going to need to check everything at least twice, if not 3 times. Especially where you put the lighter when you light the candles over there, so it doesn't fall down, and then you end up going, "Oh, what was that? Oh, okay." I know what that was. That was a lighter falling. So anyway, we checked twice. Now, ideas you're having, they're going to seem, they seem more significant. And actually, they're going to contribute to your long-term plans. What? Long-term plans? Oh, okay. Today's going to find us thinking a bit more strategically in a curious way, because those thoughts, Mercury's still retrograde in Pisces, so it's more like feelings, inklings, inclinations. All right? And it feels like everything's going to be just fine if we just believe in ourselves. So, think about it. Today's keyword is bearings, as in we're trying to get our bearings. And our color is a black cat in sunlight. So it's the fur in the sunlight. It actually looks auburn in direct sunlight. So if you don't have a black cat, that's what it looks like. So, when it's in direct sunlight, it looks very brownish. And that's what black cat fur is. So Pisces season is beginning to feel like we're spinning around and around and around, trying to get your bearings, right? Things are crazy. Crazy things are being said. Just look online, right? Look on the social media. Look at what comes up in your feed after you see this, right? Crazy things, all right? Conspiracy theories dominate social media. And, for the most part, and we're served up at distraction after distraction after distraction, even on conventional news sites, distractions. So, the moon is sextile the sun today. Well, what's that going to do? Well, sextiles are 60 degrees angles that are helpful, right? Now, and it's going to allow us to begin doing some good work. Now, the sextiles offer support and because it's helpful. It's a helpful thing, but it's not enough. There's enough resistance between the two factors. So say like the sun and the moon, the sun being in Pisces and the moon being in Capricorn, that's a sextile. And that sextile is just enough for us to be able to feel like we're in the Pisces season, but we're able to get some things done and focus on some of the Capricorn tasks at hand, that focus, that patience, that discipline that we need to be able to move forward. And that's where that plays in, right? We're not going to get it automatically because it's going to fight with it, right? Now, this is in stark contrast to trines, okay? Because trines are a 120-degree aspect, and they're considered the most beneficial. However, the energy is so easygoing that sometimes it can be easy to take it for granted and just overlook it, right? That has beneficial aspects and stuff like that. It's coming to us naturally. We don't have to work at it. The sextiles, you have to work at it. And that's why I think that the sextiles have a little bit more bearing on what it is that we should be doing and what we are doing. And the trines, it's more like, hey, don't forget to look out for this because it's going to feel so easy. It's going to come naturally that, you might not be able to take full advantage of it. So if you're working hard for it, we're getting some Saturn stuff involved here, right? That working for it. So just make sure you're working on that stuff. Because that sextile between the moon and sun is going to allow us to be able to just kind of focus, slow down, get off this crazy thing, Jane, and concentrate, right? That way we can get our bearings. That's what we want to do, get our bearings. Now, the moon in Capricorn gives us that focus and discipline to follow through on what we began yesterday. And it allows us even to move even deeper into our own projects. Now, these projects, doesn't matter what they are, right? Just be productive and keep on developing those ideas. Look, it could be 3D, it could be 5D. Remember, there's no differentiation between the two. So that way, we want to just make sure that what we're working on is just moving forward. Now, Mojo could possibly return today. Now, this gets really personal. There is a talisman that I keep in my vehicle, and I moved it over to my work vehicle, but I never took it out when the vehicle was laid up since the 19th. Now, it's in that afflicted work vehicle. I like that, right? That I could be missing. And there's a good chance that I'm going to be getting that vehicle back on Friday the 13th. Oh, okay. It's been gone for the whole retrograde. I will take the car on the 13th, believe me. I already got it back once and I had to send it back. You know that story. So, let's do it. Okay? That sounds fun, right? Now, Trisha, hey, you like the red shirt? I got a black one today. All right, so I did light candles, though. So the candles are there to send everybody some good wishes and some goodwill and send it out to everybody to help to hope that you find this astrology as helpful as possible and it brings good things to you. And that's what my intention is every time I light those candles over there before I record. Now, that's a nice thing to know. Okay, so Tiki Tuki Taki on TikTok, say that 5 times fast, like my rabbits standing on each other's shoulders. Now look, I was like, well, it could be deer, but in hindsight and thinking about it, there were no deer tracks in the backyard. We have had deer in the yard before, deer in our yard before previously, but there was no indication of deer being back there at those trees. Upon further looking it up, especially when we had so much snow on the ground for the winter, and the snow was high up, it was buried back there. So the rabbits could get higher, and then as the snow melted, they could chew their way down. And there could be squirrels helping them, too, because squirrels would do that as well. That's just basically what they do. And it's only one type of tree back there, and it's only the young ones. So, I mean, the seeds we have one big one out by the side of the house, the same variety. And the seeds just scatter. The birds eat them, and then they just, they spread them the way birds do. Yeah. So anyway, and look, that was fun to go down that rabbit hole and look at that, figuratively speaking. Now, Baby G, you love the wee hour posts, right? And you're also a neighbor, so that's very nice. New England neighbor. It's a big place. It's not a big place. If you've been in any place else in the United States, chances are it's not a very big place. It's only 200 miles from here to New York. Basically, New York City. You can do that, and, depending on how you drive like me, you can get that almost in 3 hours. So, provided you use the Merritt Parkway and you don't get stopped by the Connecticut folks. Anyway, that's what. Look, at the end of the day, okay, I'm a writer, and I happen to write about astrology. It's the language, it's the history, and the evolution of astrology that's fascinating, and I love exploring it. So I find new wrinkles and nuances all the time as I write this and I discover more things. And it makes my practice of astrology more satisfying, and quite honestly, it's liberating. It's very nice to know that there's mechanisms out there that we're just kind of following the natural rhythm. And it just really helps us to be able to key into that and just ride those waves so that we can ride them knowing what we're doing rather than just tossing darts at a board and just hoping they land. With some of the frequency information and some of the trends that we tend to follow, we will follow a more natural cycle. Even the ups and downs, right? Even this retrograde cycle that was not quite that as productive as I hoped it would be. But you know what? There's still lessons to be learned from it. And we are basically going through this, not to be afraid of it, but to be able to use it to rework our offerings. So that's what I have to say. Now, keep working on what you're working on and what you're meant to be doing. And keep those comments coming. I do like them. I like responding to them, and I like talking about them here. So let's talk about what happened today. So on this date, on March 13th in 1986, Microsoft, a little company called Microsoft, had their initial public offering. And it was March 13th, and it was at $21 per share. Now, the company initially intended to price the shares between 16 and 19, but the demand pushed the final price to 21. The stock closed at $35.50 on the first day. And since then, it has split 9 times. So one share of stock, if you bought it back in 1986, would have morphed into 288 shares. Kind of interesting, right? That would make you very prescient. What's the next Microsoft? All right, so, and our birth is Adam Clayton. He's 66 years old, born this date, March 13th in 1960. He's an English-Irish rock musician from U2. He's a bass player, U2. I'll follow stuff like that. He's born in Chinnor, England, and that's all I have for you. And Adam, I'm right behind you. So it's coming fast. So anyway, happy birthday, Adam Clayton. And to everybody out there, I appreciate and love every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do this every day, so make sure you come back. Today, what is today? Today. I didn't even give it a number. You know why? Because I blew it right off. But today is a 6. Happy astrocatting.